All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going on an incredible journey through a single Indian state that somehow stretches from the snow-capped Himalayas all the way down to the world's largest mangrove forest. We're talking about West Bengal and its unbelievable geographical and cultural diversity.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. On one hand, you have the shy, elusive red panda, a creature that belongs in high-altitude temperate forests. And on the other, you've got the magnificent Royal Bengal tiger, the undisputed king of a swampy tidal delta. This incredible contrast, well, it's at the very heart of West Bengal's story. So, to figure out how that's even possible, we're going to go on that journey ourselves. Think of it as a virtual tour, starting at West Bengal's Himalayan crown and heading all the way down to its mangrove coast. We'll explore 4 completely different regions, each with its own landscape, its own history, and its own unique story to tell. Okay, our journey kicks off in the extreme north, in the eastern Himalayas. This is a land of absolutely breathtaking beauty and huge strategic importance.
So let's get our bearings here. We're starting way up in the districts of Darjeeling and Kalimpong. This is home to Sandakphu, the state's highest peak, towering over 3,600 meters. You've got the mighty Tista River carving its way through this landscape, which is, of course, world famous for those beautiful rolling tea plantations. And this is where things get really interesting, because there is so much packed into this one small area. You've got the historic toy train, a UNESCO World Heritage Site literally chugging its way up the mountains. This is the only place in the state you can find the red panda, which is protected in the gorgeous Singalila and Yora Valley National Parks. And then there's Siliguri, the vital Chicken's Neck, a supercritical narrow strip of land that connects mainland India with all of its northeastern states. It's a huge geographical and political choke point.
And that tea we mentioned is not just famous, it's a protected global brand. Back in 2004, Darjeeling tea actually made history. It became the very first product in all of India to get a GI tag, which legally recognizes its one-of-a-kind quality and origin.
All right, time to head south. We're coming down from the mountains and stepping into a completely different world. The vast, flat, and incredibly fertile Gangetic Plains. This right here is the agricultural and cultural heart of West Bengal.
You know, this slide tells such a powerful story of transformation. For centuries, the Damodar River was a nightmare, known as the Sorrow of Bengal because of its catastrophic floods. But then, after 1948, with the creation of the Damodar Valley Corporation, this destructive force was completely harnessed. Through a series of dams, it was turned from a sorrow into an engine of growth, providing a lifeline of water for farms and power for industry. All that river silt, deposited over thousands of years, has made the soil here just unbelievably fertile. It's why West Bengal is India's biggest rice producer, and why the district of Purba Bardhaman is famously called the state's Rice Bowl. But it wasn't just crops that grew in this fertile soil. It was ideas, big ideas. This very region was the epicenter of the Bengal Renaissance, this phenomenal intellectual and cultural explosion in the 19th and 20th centuries that gave us reformers, philosophers, and artists who literally reshaped modern India. Okay, from the soft, lush plains, we're now moving west, and the landscape just completely shifts under our feet. We're entering the Western Plateau, the oldest geological part of the state. This is a land of red soil and ancient rolling hills. Now, to really get this region, you have to understand one key material, terracotta. It literally means baked earth. It's a type of clay ceramic, and the artists here used it to create some of the most intricate and beautiful temple art you'll find anywhere in the country. This is what they call Rangamati, the land of red soil. And that very soil, that red laterite soil, is the raw material for everything. It's used to build the stunning terracotta temples of Bishnupur and to craft the iconic Bankura horse, which is now a GI-tagged handicraft. This region is also the birthplace of the powerful Chow dance, a martial art form so unique it's even recognized by UNESCO. All right, for the last leg of our journey, we're heading to the extreme south. We're going to a place where the land literally meets the sea, a place that's constantly being born and reborn, a place unlike any other on Earth. I love this quote because it just nails what the Cinderbonds are all about. This is not a static place. You have to imagine it as this dynamic, always changing maze where the line between land and water is just completely blurred.
So what is it that makes this place so ridiculously unique? Well, for starters, it is by far the biggest mangrove forest in the world. It's an active delta, still being built by three massive rivers. The trees here have evolved these incredible breathing roots just to survive in the salty mud. And, of course, most famously, it is the only mangrove ecosystem on the entire planet that is the domain of the Royal Bengal tiger. You know, this journey hasn't just been about landscapes. It's also been about people and how they live. And this chart really drives home the contrasts. The state average for population density is already high, over 1,000 people per square kilometer. But that average hides the extremes. You go to a megacity like Kolkata, and that number is through the roof. But in Purulia, in that western plateau we just visited, it's way, way lower. It's just another layer of the incredible contrasts packed into this one state. So let's pull it all together now. We've journeyed across mountains, plains, plateaus, and this incredible delta. And what we've seen is that this journey didn't just create different ecosystems. No, it forged a rich, unified, and globally recognized culture. This table is the perfect snapshot of our entire trip. Just look at this. Each distinct geographical zone we visited has its own unique, protected cultural treasure. You've got Darjeeling tea from the Himalayan hills, Nakshikantha embroidery from the Gangetic plains, the Bankora horse from the western plateau, and even Sundarban honey from the mangrove delta. The geography is literally woven into the culture. And this right here, this gives you an idea of the state's global cultural weight. What's absolutely amazing is how UNESCO has recognized West Bengal's heritage across the entire spectrum. Natural sites like the Sundarbans, man-made cultural sites like the Darjeeling Railway, and even intangible, living traditions like the massive Durga Puja festival. And that brings us right back to where we started. How can one place be home to both the red panda and the Royal Bengal tiger? Well, the answer, as we've seen, is its geography. An incredible diversity of landscapes creates an equally incredible diversity of life, of culture, and of history. So it leaves us with one last thought. What really happens when the land itself is what writes the story of its people?